Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
News montage. Pleasant evening to you. Thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. My name is Abosede Omowi. In our major stories tonight, as President Buhari celebrates his 73rd birthday, heads of government of West African states and regional summit pledge total war against terrorism, poverty, and infrastructure deficit. Also in this program, Nigerians react to military Shiite clash in Zaria, demand enforcement of laws against brigandage. And still in the package, federal government denies speculation on the removal of subsidy. Fuel remains 87 naira per litre. And from outside the shores of Nigeria, International Monetary Fund stinks as IMF chief Christian Lagarde faces trial over 404 million euros payout. Join us this evening now to details of the news. ECOWAS heads of state and government have reaffirmed their readiness to partner all the regional bodies to combat terrorism, poverty, and infrastructure deficit in West Africa. They also expressed a commitment to deepening existing economic integration in the sub-region. This forms the crux of discussion at the close of the 48th ordinary session of the regional body in Abuja. State House correspondent Abiola Oluwole brings us this report.
Founded on May 28, 1975, ECOWAS has over the years been a rallying point of economic integration in West Africa. And in spite of political differences, the sub-regional body has recorded successes in areas of conflict resolution and free movement of citizens of member nations. Speaking at the end of the 48th ordinary session of ECOWAS heads of government, President Muhammadu Buhari harped on the need for the body to partner other regional bodies in fast-tracking integration among member states. He also spoke on the importance of tackling the infrastructural challenges facing the region.
We need to fast-track the integration processes, and the most effective way to do so is through accelerated and focused investment in the key development sectors, including energy, transportation, as well as road and rail networks. We should therefore push existing initiatives and adopt new ones. Insufficient power has been identified as a major obstacle to investments in the region.
One of the founding fathers of ECOWAS and Nigeria's former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, says the body was formed with the intention of building sustainable economic bloc for West Africa. He is convinced that the body has fared well in the past 40 years.
It is in this regard that I would commend the strategic decision of ECOWAS to vigorously combat malaria, HIV/AIDS, polio, and other debilitating diseases in West Africa.
As ECOWAS clocks 40 years, foreign affairs analysts are hopeful that West African leaders will remain committed to good governance and peace for the overall good of the over 300 million citizens of the region. Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News, Abuja.
As part of activities marking the 73rd birthday of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Presidential Guard held a surprise parade at the State House. The colorful parade was held at the forecourt of the presidential villa, after which the members later presented him a giant birthday card.
I wish to humbly present our birthday gift, birthday card to you on the occasion of your 73rd birthday. While promising you our complete loyalty, we wish you long life, good health, and God's guidance and protection now and always as you continue to discharge your duties to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and humanity. Congratulations, Your Excellency. Thank you.
See him again.
The federal government has denied claims that fuel price will climb to 97 naira a litre in January 2016. Newspaper reports and social media had been awash with stories of a fuel price hike attributed to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. But speaking at a news conference in Abuja, Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachiku, disclosed that the government is introducing price modulation rather than removes fuel subsidy. Helen Chukwunwike tells us more.
My focus is that the federal government shouldn't spend as much as it is spending every year on subsidy. So first is an issue of a responsibility approach. This year, like I said, we spent over 1 trillion. And given the state of the finances that this government made, we have to save money through every means. And what I'm trying to help them do is not to continue to spend that amount of money. But you all know that the president himself has a lot of energy, rightly so, about making sure that whatever we do, poor people are not affected. Poor people don't pay a huge price for this. And so he's asked for, let's try and see how we can do this in a way that palliatives will help provide for some of this. So when you had a report that price is going to sell for 97, that was not a correct report. I did not say that crude, I did not say that refined products will sell for 97 naira next year. That's not what I said.
The National Economic Council says the balance of the excess crude account stands at $2.257 billion as at November ending. The council also wants state government to develop internally generated revenue machinery in the aftermath of declining oil price. The meeting, which was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, had several governors in attendance.
Minister of National Planning and Economic Development Udo Udoma was the first to brief the press after the meeting. He spoke on the readiness of states to adopt the medium-term expenditure framework as approved by the federal government.
He also emphasized the need for states to be guided by the assumptions of the MTEF and also the need for states to be conservative in the expenditure, revenue and expenditure projections for 2016 to 2018 in view of the declining oil price.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom puts the figure of recovered Abacha loot at $26 million and 19 million pounds at the end of November.
The Accountant General of the Federation reported that the dollar account as of November 2015 ending as a balance of $26,389,000, while the pound sterling has a balance of £19,033,000.
The council deliberated on how to stop the remittance of naira into federation accounts by government agencies generating revenue in foreign currencies. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News.
The House of Representatives has approved the 2016 to 2018 medium-term expenditure framework. This comes one day after the Senate took a similar step. The lawmakers also resolved to collaborate with the executive to accelerate the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. National Assembly correspondent Jamil Afegbua now reports.
Deliberations on the MTEF began with committee chairman Babangida Ibrahim providing an insight into the report. He also highlighted areas where the committee noticed some shortcomings.
The deficit in 2015 budget was 1.09% to the GDP. As a result of that and other contributing factors, there was a shortfall in both oil revenue and non-oil revenue. And the shortfall was largely due to, in the case of non-oil revenue, the insecurity which persists in the Northeast, while with regard to shortfall in the oil revenue, mostly it has to do with the shut-in of some well platforms, shutdown of pipeline by banders, the same level of insecurity.
Raising a point of order, Representatives Aminu Shagari noted that one of the recommendations required amendments.
Amendment will now be that the federal government should, as a matter of urgency, vigorously pursue in the, diversification of the economy.
We have to be mindful of just one fact. And the fact is that the presentation of the 2016 budget, which will be done on Tuesday, is predicated on the document that we have before us. And the Senate has already passed its own version, which is perhaps what we have here, 100%. And so if we tinker too much with this document, it will call for harmonization with the Senate. And we have latest Monday, even Monday, just Monday to finish the harmonization, passed it before we take the budget on Tuesday.
House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila, leader of the opposition Leo Ogo, however made some observations on the Treasury single account, which they say was not in the original proposal. They also argued that there was no need to include arrears of the fuel subsidy payment since the supplementary budget had already taken care of that.
Mr. Chairman, sir, the recommendation 7 deals with the TSA, Treasury single account. We were all here when the medium-term expenditure framework was presented to the House. And nowhere in the body of that document was the issue of TSA introduced. So I don't know why the committee has now brought in the issue of TSA or something that was never introduced or discussed. They're not even asking for our approval for TSA. They're not even asking for our approval. It's an ongoing policy that's already been implemented. So I would want us to expunge that clause and deal with the relevant issue.
Here you remember vividly, vis-a-vis our powers of appropriation, a supplementary budget was submitted to this House, where there was a demand for subsidy funds of 413 billion. Using the power of appropriation, we increased that figure to close the gap to cover for 2015. And we added 108 billion as requested by the authorities. That brought the figure to, I think, 513 billion, 22 billion. Now, here again, we are having another area of 2015 for fuel subsidy for domestic consumption, as proposed in the medium-term expenditure framework, be sustained. I believe that, this item specifically should be dropped.
2 out of the 14 recommendations were eventually approved But due to discrepancies between the two chambers, a conference committee will be constituted to harmonize the difference.
Recommendation 8, carried. Recommendation 9. Recommendation 9, carried. Recommendation 10, carried. Recommendation 11, carried. Recommendation 12, Minority Leader.
The approval of the MTF by both chambers has now paved the way for President Muhammadu Buhari to show up at the National Assembly Tuesday next week to present the 2016 budget estimate. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Senate is to investigate the activities of the Niger Delta Development Commission. This was on the basis of a motion by the senator representing Edo South, Matthew Urogidi, on NDDC project and the development of the region raised. The Senate demanded an audit of all projects and also wants the federal government to put in place a board that will be committed to serving the people of the region. Basi Aye reports.
One of the concerns raised in the motion is that there is no clarity on whether or not funds appropriated to the NDDC have been well utilized in well-thought-out community projects. This is especially as the funds received by the different boards over the last 15 years run into several billions of naira. It is the general consensus that the Commission may be out of its league in the face of the numerous challenges bedeviling the Niger Delta.
2016. It is important that projects and programs that must enter the budget must have value for money. And I think that is a thinking that, of course, is commendable of this government. And no, any right-thinking Nigerian must see to it that the days where jamboree projects and abandoned projects were the things that were invoked, they are past. So we're passing this budget, passing this motion now, we send a very clear signal that oversight function, that the committees of Senate that are concerned with development, they must go and do as such, so that we want to maximize whatever is derivable as benefit on the part of the people and minimize areas of leakages.
Senate leader Ali Ndume was of the opinion that it was indeed time to act on the NDDC, saying that those from the region are the ones sounding the alarm.
In those days, the issues and the management of Niger Delta is seen as an exclusive business of the South-South, and you cannot talk about it. It's good now that a senator from the South-South is coming out to say, look, let us look back and see what we have done and fix those things that are right. This is a very, very important motion, and as you said, Mr. President, we might as well go straight to the prayers of the motion.
Senate President Bukola Saraki, in summary, took the opportunity to once again task the relevant committees to take its oversight duties with all seriousness.
This is another good example of how we say that the 8th Senate will think of the country first and leave all other interests secondary. And I think it will go a long way in ensuring that we have proper oversight and proper monitoring. Some of the things we have seen here has been to collusion. I mean, we can put all the blame on the executives there, but those who were responsible in exposing some of these issues did not play their part. And if we are serious, because with the billions that has been spent over the years through this commission, surely the level of poverty shall be significantly reduced in the Niger Delta area. This has not happened. And I hope that our committee will carry out this investigation, bring out areas that need action on our part, so that this kind of thing does not repeat itself. And going forward, to ensure that it does not repeat. And those who have done those abuses should be made to be held responsible for the actions and face whatever sanction that is necessary. We must begin to act and not talk.
The motion was referred to the Committee on Niger Delta, which was saddled with the responsibility of a holistic investigation into NDDC projects. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The federal government is determined to make Nigeria one of Africa's major tourist destinations. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed disclosed this at a one-day seminar on mainstreaming tourism into the economic agenda of government. issues and challenges in Abuja. The minister, who was represented by the permanent secretary in the ministry, Ayotunde Adesuga, reaffirmed government's stance on diversifying the Nigerian economy. He added that what the country faces today is proof that a monoproduct economy is not desirable for any country.
With the price of oil on a steady decline, the federal government is determined to fully exploit the country's potentials. This, according to the Information and Culture Minister, is to ensure that the country is shielded from the vagaries of a monoproduct economy. The minister, who spoke through the permanent secretary, added that the government aims to make Nigeria one of Africa's top tourist destinations.
Nigeria is determined to fully exploit its potential for tourism as one of Africa's major tourism destinations. The country, with its vast landmass and a population of over 170 million, is blessed with the abundance of both natural and artificial resources that cut across the length and breadth of the country.
For this to happen, according to him, the government must provide the necessary infrastructure and enabling environment in addition to other steps.
For the tourism sector to meet the country's development expectations, government on its own part is determined to provide a more conducive environment for investors and potential tourists. In spite of all this, there's still room for development and improvement, which requires the collaboration of both the public and the private sectors.
For this tourism expert, the buck stops at the table of the federal government.
It's for government to lead, then private sector driving the industry, then the labor be dependent on our industry because it provides a lot of jobs for people, then develop our community-based tourism.
As the quest for a more robust economy continues, Nigerians will hope that the country indeed explore all other economic opportunities rather than solely depend on oil. Kazim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Now we'll take a commercial break. When we return, more reports coming your way on CoreTV Primetime News. Do stay with us.
Whenever you recharge your Airtel line, you could win a trip to Dubai for yourself and your family members or closest pals. Win one of 60 trips for 4 to Dubai in the Airtel Red Hot promo. Now that's a trip for 240 people. You could also be one of the 60 instant millionaires. Win smartphones and airtime. Everyone is a winner. Keep recharging to win in the Airtel Red Hot promo with Emirates Holidays.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The man on the streets have come to realize that the power to make decisions lies in the hands of the people. I don't think there is.
5 local government out of the 30 local government is more than many states in the north. The economy is booming. Where is the economy booming?
Blast in Abuja.
Don't you have security?
Why are we fighting? The country should not just sit in Abuja or in Asokoro or wherever it is. Tell us are the local. They know them.
They cannot be there and be here at the same time.
The life of the citizens, community need to be protected.
It can't work out.
Bring the message of peace. Let there be proper devolution of power from the center. The center is too powerful.
It's time to do the best. But people are hasty. Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting?
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back. This is still CoreTV Primetime News on CoreTV News. Now the main stories we're looking at tonight. As President Buhari celebrates his 73rd birthday, heads of government of West African states and regional summit pledged total war against terrorism, poverty and infrastructure deficit. Also in the package, Nigerians react to military Shiite clash in Zaria, demand enforcement of laws against brigandage. Still to come in the package, federal government denies speculation on the removal of subsidy. Fuel remains 87 naira per litre. Now you can get details on all our news and other stories on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. Please get more on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space and news. Welcome back to the rest of the report. The Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has presented the year 2016 budget proposal of 662.588 billion naira to the House of Assembly, with a pledge that his administration will not only implement the budget faithfully, but also ensure that it works in the best interest of Lagosians. The governor, who christened the 2016 budget the People's Budget, said it is an improvement of 26% over the budget of 2014 and 2015 respectively, which stood at 489.6 billion naira individually. He said the 2016 budget, which is the first full budget of the present administration, will promote massive investment in security, transport and traffic management, physical and social infrastructural development, and enhance job creation. Now to Plateau State. In view of the ravaging youth unemployment in the country, the Plateau State government has promised to work hard with the private sector in revamping the agricultural sector in line with providing employment for its teeming youth. The state governor stated this in a workshop in Jos. Here is the report.
For the past 8 years, no youth employment has been made in Plateau State. This has been said to be one of the reasons for the continuous communal clashes. In an interactive session in Lantan North, Sarah Janfa called on politicians to step in and ensure youth development in order to end the crisis bedeviling the state.
Political office holder to come back here and to appreciate what these people have.
The senator representing Plateau South in the National Assembly, Jeremiah Hussaini, vowed to do his best in assisting youth development in his zone. Other speakers at the occasion called for unity.
Or what they thought we do 100 and see how it goes. The area of improvement will improve. By the time we set another one, we may increase the number. Because even this one, when they graduate, we have to give them something to start with.
And I want to seize this opportunity to say, let this be the last time that we will be so divided. Let's come together as a people and fight the cause of our destiny.
Peace and oneness, which is anchored on one person by name, do good and you see good. And because he has been doing good and see good, that is why anything around him is for the benefit of the masses.
Opinion leaders called on the politicians to go beyond paying up services in the issues that borders on security and youth development.
The Kaduna State government has suspended management of the State Water Board. It's also vowed to investigate the activities of the board. Commissioner for Water Resources Suleiman Aliyu disclosed this in a statement issued in Kaduna. He also noted that Governor Nasir El-Rufai had since directed him to launch an investigation into the financial operations of the Water Board. Meanwhile, the Governor Nasir El-Rufai has approved the release of 500 million naira as a bailout to the Water Board for the payment of salaries and allowances of the staff from January to December 2014. Part of the money is to be spent on chemicals for water treatment. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Department of State Service to release the pro-Biafra activist Nnamdi Kanu on bail unconditionally. Justice Adeniyi Ademola gave the order while ruling on bail application filed by Kanu's counsel, Vincent Obeta. The judge said that the continued detention of the pro-Biafra activist for about 2 months without trial violated Section 158 of the 2015 Administration of Criminal Justice Act and Section 35 of the 1999 Constitution.
After days of protests, it is now time for jubilation among supporters of the pro-Biafra activist Nnamdi Kanu. He was accused of forming an unlawful organization with the purpose of bringing into being a Republic of Biafra. The case against him was struck out at the Magistrate Court to enable DSS to prosecute him at the Federal High Court in Abuja. But delivering ruling on the bail application, Justice Ademola held that the continuous detention of Kanu by DSS for more than 2 months without a proper trial was illegal.
I lack words to express my appreciation for what has taken place today. I want to first of all say kudos to the lovers of rule of law. The rule of law has prevailed in courts today. And honestly, I think I would have been at my peak if I was on the defensive end. But I haven't won the victory today. I want to thank everybody, especially the Fourth Estate of the Rim, for giving the publicity they've given in this case. I saw this as a very big challenge for all those that are oppressed. As a human rights activist, I saw it as an opportunity to let the world know that yes, in Nigeria, there is truly democracy. Yeah. We have seen democracy in Nigeria. Yeah. And today the court, in its ruling, made a very, very serious...
Now, the last may not have been heard about the purported clash between the Shiite religious sect and the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, last Saturday, December the 12th, 2015. The sect had blocked the freeway, preventing General Buratai's convoy from proceeding to an official assignment at the Army Depot in Zaria, Kaduna State. Our live breakfast program, Court Digest, dissects the issues about the clash and who really is the aggressor.
The participatory program, Court Digest, brought to the fore the whole scenario about the event of December 12, 2015, when the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff was confronted by the dreaded Islamic sect Shiites and prevented him from using the freeway to perform a national assignment of the passing out parade of trainees from the Nigerian Army Depot in Zaria.
Don't! We want to pass! Don't! Get fire! Get fire!
For the panelists on the Court Digest program, they are unanimous about who the aggressor is in the confrontation that has been misrepresented in the eyes of the public.
Who is actually leading them? Where are they going to? Some people somewhere will just gather a group of idle youths, give them money, cook for them, tell them what to do. They go out and start causing all this sort of trouble. I don't know.
Democracy brings freedom, but unfortunately there is no absolute freedom anywhere in the world. That we have democracy doesn't mean that people should go beyond boundaries, that people should be reckless.
In law, that is obstructing the way of justice. Whenever the military or any of the force is moving in a direction to carry out a national assignment, you as a citizen has to support them, move aside on the road for them. And that's what sponsored the idea of, okay, there is siren, they are going on a mission and all of that. And so if you block them, it's an offense.
To the viewers who participated through phone calls, the Islamic religion has no place in the brigand action by the members of the Shiite sect.
To be honest with you, that is unacceptable in any society. You can have the military that you're talking about, the commander-in-chief of army now, is more or less the president. So preventing him to use the federal role is unacceptable in any society.
Our leadership is honest. Our leadership tell us the truth. Our religious leaders should teach their followers the truth. The chief of army staff convoy, they try. Remember, the chief of army staff stands for the head of state of this nation. And this is a federal law for crying out loud.
In order to reduce authority if there is any event. But these people gather themselves, claiming that they are leading. It is going to affect everything. Let's hold the statement. That is how it is. That is my contribution.
Thank you very much.
They are not aggressors. They are not the aggressors at all.
They have done it justice. So I just wonder where they are practicing their doctrine. Because in my environment I live, anytime these guys come out, you find out that other Muslim brothers are panicking about it. All you do here is that they have to call these people in order before they turn Nigeria to something else. Because if they continue the way they are today, if you give them too much power, if they can do this to the military, who is the man?
The challenges facing the country are quite enormous, with internal strife. But this distraction by the members of the Islamic fundamentalist sect, the Shiites, is one confrontation that stands condemnable by the Nigerian people. And still on issues with the Shiite sect, the police in Kaduna State have denied killing any Shiite members in the course of dispersing a protest a few days ago. Police spokesman Zubairu Abubakar said a police team only dispersed members of the group following intelligence report on an impending protest. He insisted that none of the operatives fired at the Shiite members. And the need to foster peace in a multi-religious country has again been emphasized by Islamic clerics in Lagos during the Nasru Fathi Society of Nigeria, NASFAT Third Biennial Conference. The event seeks to map out strategies for the repositioning of NASFAT in Nigeria.
Islam, implanted in the heart of many by the recent insurgencies recorded around the world, is known as a religion of peace. In a bid to map out strategies to reposition Islam in the minds of Nigerians, the NASFAT staged a two-day biennial conference to enlighten its members and unify them in their commitment to the tenets of the religion. Speaking at the event, the NASFAT president tells us the essence of the conference and the cause of radicalism among young people.
Our government must ensure our youths are gainfully employed. When you are employed, you have a focus. You have something to think about. We're reaching out to people. There is a problem, and we feel that Islam is being portrayed in negative light. Islam means peace. Therefore, to attribute to Islam terrorism, briganding, is not fair.
On leadership, the chief missionary speaks on the role a leader plays in the development of the country.
Here in this country, leadership is the need of the whole humanity. Those in government, the authority, and those who are being ruled. But be that as it is may, leadership at any platform has one dictum. The dictum is responsibility.
Emphasizing the role of women in the society, the representative of the Secretary of the World National Women Affairs talks about the impact of women on their children.
Don't put a gap of communication in between you and your children. Being a boy or a girl, bring them together. Let them know that they have a sense of belonging. And you are training your child. Let them have the fear of Allah in them. Because when you have the fear of Allah in you, we will not go astray.
The call has been made to all to reject the current level of terrorism on Islam and the activities of mischief makers who deliberately refuse to understand and distort what Islam truly stands for. Sarah Ayuku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We take another break, and when we return, we'll bring you a report from outside the shores of Nigeria and the world of sports. Do stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is, that will bring our military to disrepute. I said to hell.
On Core Digest.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody have your right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. This is still CoreTV Primetime News. Now to the story from outside Nigeria. The International Monetary Fund Chief Christine Lagarde is to stand trial in France for alleged negligence over a 404 million euro payment to a businessman, Bernard Tapie, in 2008. She was finance minister in President Nicolas Sarkozy's government at the time the compensation was awarded to Tapie for the sale of a firm. Tapie supported Mr. Sarkozy in the 2007 presidential election. Lagarde's lawyer described the court's decision as incomprehensible and said the IMF boss would appeal. In a statement, she said she had always acted in this affair in the interest of the state and in respect of the law. Tapie was once a majority shareholder in sports goods company Adidas, but sold it in 1993 in order to become a cabinet minister in Francois Mitterrand's socialist government. He sued the Credit Lyonnais Bank over its handling of the sale, alleging that the partly state-owned bank had defrauded him by deliberately undervaluing the company. His case was later referred by Lagarde to a 3-member arbitration panel, which awarded the compensation, causing a public outcry. Investigators suspect he was granted the deal in return for his support of Mr. Sarkozy. And in sport, Chelsea have sacked manager Jose Mourinho 7 months after he led them to the Premier League title. The 52-year-old Portuguese had been in a second spell at the club, taking charge in June 2013. Chelsea finished 8 points clear last season and won the League Cup, but have lost 9 of their 16 league games so far and are 16th in the table, 1 point above the relegation places. Mourinho's final match was Monday's 2-1 defeat at leaders Leicester City. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, another look at the major stories. As President Muhammadu Buhari celebrates his 73rd birthday, heads of government of West African states and regional summit pledging total war against terrorism, poverty, and infrastructure deficit. We told you that Nigerians are reacting to military Shiite clash in Zaria, Kaduna State, and are demanding enforcement of laws against brigandage. And finally, we brought to your notice that the federal government has denied speculation on the removal of subsidy, saying that fuel remains 87 naira per litre. I'm sure Nigerians are very glad about that declaration by the federal government. And that makes it a wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. We appreciate you for being a part of it. My name is Abosedi Omowe. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.